collagen back, and it's collagen, it's back, because he's in college and he's back, he's in college and he's back, he does college and he's back, he does college and he's back, collagen back, and collagen back, and collagen back.
Welcome back to the College and Back podcast. Today we have season 1, episode 2, and once again I have a very special guest. Today I have my friend Jacob. How are you doing, Jacob?
I'm doing all right. How are you, Nick?
I'm pretty good. It's pretty early in the morning when I'm recording this. I'm not sure how it'll turn out, but I think it'll be good. Today actually is one of the last days for me before we go on break, and today you are actually heading out.
Heading out, yes, sir.
Yeah. So, what are you looking forward to about the break?
Yeah, I got a lot of cool things going on. I'm heading to Iowa to go see some high school friends working at Pine Cove. Go Cones.
Nice.
It's going to be a blast. It'll probably go by pretty quick, even though we have 9 weeks.
I know, it's so weird that it's such a long break. Like, usually we're used to that, like, maybe a month, but now it's, like, almost double that.
Crazy.
It's pretty crazy. So let's talk about a little bit about how we met, because we actually met in a class, I think, last year. It was Principles of... Marketing, I think, yeah. With the class we just kind of saw each other in, and we didn't really hang out or anything last year. I don't even know how we really, met.
No,
exactly.
we met before, the first week of school last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I sat down with you and Nick Pelham and Ryan, I think, and I was like, oh, they're talking football. I want to be there.
That's right. I remember that, yeah. And you were talking about, Washington football, I think?
Yeah, go Dogs.
And, or was it Washington?
Yeah,
Washington.
Yeah.
So you were talking about that, and me and Nick were like, this guy is into sports. This is not what we thought when we came to LeTourneau. We thought we'd be the only two people talking about sports. But so I think that's kind of when we realized we're going to be good friends with Jacob just because of the sports talk. And then this year, you were in a different dorm last year. And this year you moved into the same dorm I'm in, and you're just a floor above me. So now we see each other basically every day. So
come take all of your Rolos.
Yeah, so I have a jar of Rolos here on my desk, and I guess this semester when Jacob I would have my door open, he would just walk in, take a Rolo, and come out, and it's been a tradition ever since then, so it's pretty funny. So that also kind of leads into the next point about Bud. I want you to talk about that a little bit since you're a leader of it, but you invited me to this event called Bud this year, and I think we've grown pretty close because of that also. So talk a little bit about Bud and what it is for people who might want to join next semester.
Yeah, Bud is a great place to meet new people and grow closer in your walk with Christ and in your community with others. Bud is the guy Bible study basically, and we focus on community and vulnerability with that community and the benefits of that, and just it's really awesome to come together. I mean, you've seen it, come together as a group of guys and just enjoy that community, whether it be getting burgers at 10 o'clock at Bubba's or just hanging out, going through the weekly material. It's a blast. Yeah,
it's been really cool. I've gone almost every time. There's been a couple I've missed, but it was really cool. The first time I went, I'm like, okay, I'll try this out just to just get out there and do other stuff, because last year I heard of it and you had invited me to it, and another person invited me to it, and I just was like, yeah, I'll maybe think about it. But this year I'm finally like, okay, I'll give it a try. And so I went, and then once I went, I'm like, this is actually a really cool thing and something I want to keep going to. And so now, since you're a leader, now you've invited me, now it makes me want to invite other people next semester, and I think that's part of what Bud is all about. It's just getting people together just to talk about life, and just to, life's hard, college is hard, and I think when you get a group of guys together that all experience struggles and other things, it's a good place to just go to talk about God and talk about how to do life together as guys. So it's really cool. And then we had our Bud and then Delight. It's the girls' version of that. And we had a really cool night together. So talk a little bit about that, how that was.
Yeah, the Bud Delight Worship Night, or otherwise known as Bud Light.
Bud Light, yep.
Yeah, that's something that I think we're gonna try and do something like that once a semester. It was really cool to come together as brothers and sisters in Christ and worship God together, pray together, and it was super cool. We had it in James's backyard. If you probably don't know who James is, but super cool atmosphere. We talked about what it meant to worship and what that looks like, and yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. I'm looking forward to that next semester. So, what would you say, like, if you could name a couple of things you're looking forward to about Bud next semester and, like, what they have going on in the future?
Yeah, so coming up actually is the Unshakable Conference before we even get to next semester.
Yeah.
Which is like corporate Bud thing. And basically what it'll be is a bunch of speaker sessions and stuff like that. So that's pretty exciting. If you want more information about that, I believe it is on the Instagram of Bud Ministries. But next semester, I'm excited we'll be back doing the same thing. We're going to meet probably, we'll start a little bit earlier. This semester we got to a late start, so I'm excited to meet for the full semester. Hopefully COVID won't be a factor. Knock on wood or something.
Yeah. Knock on wood. I hope so.
But yeah, also just I'm excited for it. I also forgot to mention partners and how that's my favorite thing about Bud is you get assigned a partner to hang out with throughout the week and kind of check up with them and see how they're doing and just hear their story, which is my favorite thing that kept me coming back.
Yeah, we were actually, the first week I went, we actually got paired up together. I think it was just honestly a God thing because, like, we came together, like, you invited me and we came there together, but we ended up getting paired together just randomly, so I think that was really cool, and once we got paired together, I'm like, yeah, I think this is going to be a good friendship that we have, so that's really cool. So, moving on to, like, just about finals, because you're almost done. You're so close. You have, I think, 1 or 2 papers left to turn in, and I have a presentation and 1 more final left, and then I'm done. So just talk about, like, this last couple of weeks about the grind of finals and how it's gone for you.
It was going pretty good up until Hell Week, and then I was like, I've got no motivation whatsoever to finish this out, which is weird because I can see the finish line, but
I know.
Can't get there.
Yeah, I feel that same way. It's like once, like, everything started coming down and, like, everything's due in the next week or so, it's like I just can't do it. Like, studying for my finals, my first couple of finals, I'm like, I just had no motivation, and I would talk to other people and they'd be like, I just can't study right now, even though it's like, just once we get past this and we're done, like, can't you just push through? Like, it's just so hard to push through the last couple of weeks of school, so I totally agree. But I guess what's kind of, I know you already said kind of just what you're going to do over the break, but what are some of the things you're really excited about for this break? Because it's the long one, so.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back into the golf game a little bit.
Yes, sir.
I'm excited for Christmas. I mean, that's just the best holiday all around. Can't wait to celebrate that. But after Thanksgiving, of course. Thanksgiving's got to come first.
Yeah, I know.
I'm one of those guys.
So I guess that's one of the other things I wanted to ask you. What is going to be your favorite holiday? Because there's technically 3, or even, I think, technically 4 if you count Martin Luther King Day right before school starts. But, I mean, of the main 3 of Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, what's your favorite holiday out of those 3?
Definitely Christmas.
Yeah, gotta go Christmas.
Everybody loves that giving spirit, and
yeah,
this year it might be New Year's because I'm working at Pine Cove, but Christmas is always top.
When are you working at Pine Cove? Like what?
They're having a New Year's conference thing, so okay. I'm going up before New Year's, and we'll stay through New Year's, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will be cool. Sweet. So what are some, I guess, then things you're not looking forward to? Because I know, like, with the long break, it's like, yeah, it's going to be fun, but after a while, things probably will get old, just not seeing friends and stuff. So, like, what are you not looking forward to, I guess?
Yeah, I think you say, I mean, gonna miss the friends.
Yeah.
And all the relationships that I've made here. 9 weeks is a long time.
Yeah.
And Zoom is just not the same.
Yeah, we know that from COVID season and earlier this year.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, missing the friends. Probably will get old at home. I mean, it'll be the longest I've been at home since high school. So.
Yeah, That's crazy.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, last summer, I know for me, I was at home the whole summer, but still, like, it depends on what, like, your relationship with family is, because if, like, me and my family are really, really tight, and so, like, it never gets old for me being at home, but some people are like, hey, I need to get out. Like, I need to go and spend time with friends and not just my family, so. But, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I think it gets to a point where you just kind of, I kind of need to move out, move on.
That's true. I mean, we're at that age now, which is weird to think about, that we're at that age where we can actually move out and get an apartment by ourselves or with friends. It's very weird to think about that, but yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Okay, so I want to, one of the things actually that I'm looking forward to a lot, which, I mean, we had it here also, but it's something about getting closer to Christmas and having Thanksgiving, about watching football. It's just like the Thanksgiving Day games. I remember last year I was on a cruise during Thanksgiving. And so we were on the cruise, like the ship, and we were watching on their TVs on the cruise ship. Like, just, we could see all the ocean and everything and watching football. It was so cool to see that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then getting close to Christmas, like, you have, like, games really close to, like, Christmas Eve games and stuff like that. So just thinking about that, I'm looking forward to football. So we both have a favorite team in the NFL. And I mean, we can talk about college, too. We both have favorite teams in the college also. But so your team's the Seahawks, and
Yes,
mine's the
sir.
Steelers. So I want you to go. I mean, this episode is actually coming out after the Seahawks play the Cardinals on Thursday night, correct?
Correct.
So can you make a prediction? This is recorded beforehand, so can you predict the game? I want to see if you can predict the game.
On Thursday. So I think it'll obviously be a close game. A lot of it kind of depends on if our running backs are healthy. It's sounding like Carlos Hyde is going to make a go at it, so that'll be helpful to have. We'll see. It's definitely going to be a close game. I'm thinking probably around a 27-28 squeak out victory type thing. Russell Wilson pull out some magic after having 2 terrible games behind him. 7 turnovers the last 2 games, not great for him. So hopefully we can return it. We can turn it around.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, after what Kyler Murray did with DeAndre Hopkins, that last second thing, I don't think he can repeat that again. I don't think he's going to be able to pull that magic out again. So I actually do think the Seahawks will win this game, but I think it will be really high scoring and entertaining. So we'll see. Y'all will know this by the time this is out. So we'll see if Jacob was right. And then I guess I'll go and talk about my Steelers. 9-0. Let's go. We'll see how long that can stay. I think it will stay this week, though, when they play the Jags. I really like James Robinson. Of course, he's on my fantasy team. That's basically my RB1 now. So I'm hoping he can still play well. But I think, honestly, the Steelers will win this game. They shouldn't lose, even though they've almost lost to the Cowboys this season, which was not cool. But they still won. I think they'll win this game. I'm going to say, let's go 31-17 Steelers. I'm going to go a 2-touchdown victory on the Jags this week. So I think that's so cool. We talked about Bud and kind of the spiritual side at the beginning, and now we're moving into football. I think it's really cool that we have both of those things in common. Sweet. So do you have any, would you say, like, other hobbies and stuff? Because I want this podcast, honestly, it's about me kind of, I know it might seem like an interview type a little bit, but I really want it to be like me talking to other people, seeing like what they like to do and what their certain hobbies are. So if y'all as listeners hear that a lot, that's kind of what the podcast is for, is like to see what other people like to do, what things they're interested in, and try to get like a bigger scope on like just what people like. So I'm going to ask you, what other hobbies and other things do you like to do other than, of course, watching football and playing sports, stuff like that?
Yeah, well, I'm a big sports guy, so that ends up being my hobbies.
Yeah,
and like
I'm with you there.
Yeah, I play racquetball like 3 times a week, and try and play disc golf every now and then. And we played golf a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that was fun.
Sports are a big part of my life. I also love playing card games.
Okay.
Doesn't happen too often here, I feel like, because people just get busy.
Yeah.
Recently got into chess.
The chess. Yeah, you were trying to teach me chess like at the beginning of this semester, and I'm not sure I am very good at it. / even
It takes time.
I don't know.
It takes time.
It's definitely a different skill to have.
Yeah. Thinking those 3 moves ahead. But yeah.
That's really cool. I know for me, I'm a big sports guy too, and so I guess that's part of the reason why I'm asking other people, because I feel like my life is too sports centric. Like that's all I think about. So like I need to get some other hobbies and do some other things other than just sports. And I think like card games or chess, those are really good ways. And I'm not going to bring this up, but I did. We were talking about it last night actually about when you were on the Bickle Bros podcast, and they were talking about your quote unquote gambling that you may or may not do. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but but yeah, that just came up last night, and I had to mention it here.
Oh yeah, poker's a fun game.
Yeah, I've never played poker before, I've actually, there's been a couple of times where people have been like, play poker, and I've tried, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah,
fun game because you're playing against the people. You're not playing with the cards, really.
Yeah, that's true. Cool. So before we wrap this up, is there any like kind of final thoughts or words or anything the listeners need to know about you, or because anything about your family life or anything else you want to mention to the audience?
When people ask me for a fun fact, this is always my go-to.
All right, let's see what it is.
So I was born. I'm in the middle of two people. I've got an older brother and a younger sister. I was born on June 22nd. My brother was born on June 21st, and my younger sister, was born on June 23rd.
No
so it
way.
goes right in a row. Bang, bang, bang.
Wow.
21st, 22nd, 23rd.
That must be crazy for your like birthdays and stuff, especially when y'all were younger.
Birthday palooza is Christmas in June.
So what did y'all do like for that? I'm just curious about those birthdays. Like, would y'all just have like joint birthdays always, or would you do separate ones?
Of course not. I have to have my own cake. My sister had her own cake, and my brother had his own cake.
Man, that must have been an expensive day for you. Expensive 3 or 4 days for your family doing all that.
Yeah, it really did end up being kind of like Christmas in June. So
that's really interesting. That is an interesting fact, and I don't think anybody else is going to have a more interesting fact for a while other than that, because that's crazy to have 3 kids that close, like not close in age, but like the birthdays are that close together. That's crazy. The only interesting thing I can think of right now that has to do with birthdays is my brother was born on my mom's birthday by 15 minutes. He was born at 11:45 p.m., so he almost had his own day, but not quite.
Close.
Yeah, it was very close. Okay, so I did this with Zach last week, by the way. If you haven't listened, go listen to the podcast last week I had with Zach. But I asked him these 5 questions, 6 questions, something like that. So I want to ask you the same questions. So I got some interesting answers from Zach, so I want to see if you can make any other like points or make them more interesting than Zach did. So let's see. So the first one is, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live?
Seattle, Washington. Not just because of the football. Not just because of the football. You have the ocean right there. You've got the mountains. You can go ski. You can go fish, I guess. Space Needle. It's a cool atmosphere. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the politics, but I can get past that for how beautiful it is. So.
Seattle, Washington. So you're not from? Are you from Seattle? No,
I am not.
You're from Iowa, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna mess it up twice. I said Illinois yesterday when I talked to you, but I'm not gonna mess it up today. Iowa. Okay, cool. So this one's very random, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you today? It might not be that happy right now since it's 10 in the morning, but we'll see. How happy are you?
I'm about a 7. I mean, once I finish these papers, I'll probably be about an 8 or a 9. But
Yeah. Finishing school definitely raises your your happiness level for sure. Okay, so this one actually ended up being part of the thumbnail for the video last week. So let's see if you can get another thumbnail. Maybe not, but we'll see. What is the favorite moment of all time in your life? Like the best moment you've ever had, and you can name a couple. Zach named a couple last week, so.
Yeah, that's a big one. I didn't even see that question.
Gotta think about that one a little bit.
From a sports perspective, Seahawks Super Bowl win would probably be the first thing. From a sports perspective, that's not. Yeah, man, that's hard.
Not the Super Bowl where Marshawn Lynch didn't get the ball right.
Oh, we don't. Okay, Nate.
Didn't have to
we don't have to talk about that.
Okay.
Still sour, but man, that's. I love. Honestly, that Bud Delight worship night was definitely my favorite moment of the semester. Just seeing that whole thing come together and with how many people were there praising God. Just those kind of nights, try not to take for granted. So they don't come around as often as they should.
I know that night was. I'll buy you some time if you want to think about from other points in your life, but I'll talk about this for a second. That moment really was pretty powerful just to see. I mean, I know you were in kind of the background, or not the background, but like you were kind of leading it. But being in the audience and just seeing how it came together and seeing people, like when we broke up into small groups to talk about stuff, it was really cool just to see. You could see lives were being changed that night, which was really cool to me. And I would love for that to happen more often. I think that's a really cool thing to do, especially on a college campus, that when we have school and other things going on, just to take a break and like go away from just all the college life and really gather with other believers and even non-believers to talk about God and see lives change. Is pretty cool. So just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The last one that I was kind of thinking about, I'm not sure if it was necessarily a moment, but
yeah.
I have a niece, and spending time with her is a blast because she is so cute and little.
Yeah.
But that's always fun.
Okay. How old is your niece?
She is almost 2.
Wow.
Almost 2.
That would be really cool. Yeah, I know. I have. I don't know what they are. One of my cousin's daughter is like not even 1 yet, and I've only seen her a couple times, but like I have a feeling in the next like couple of years it would be really cool to hang out with her and just like spend time with her since they're so young. It's something about little babies that are just it's really fun to hang out with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, next question. I have a couple more. So this one's interesting too. I want to see what 3 people. But anyway, if you could have dinner with 3 people that are either dead or alive, who would they be? Like the dead ones, of course, come back to life. But
right. Not just a corpse just hanging out at dinner.
Definitely not. You don't want that image. No.
No, it's not going to be very interesting.
Okay.
But it's going to be Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I figured that one was coming.
Probably like Gary Payton. Go Supersonics, bring him back. And maybe Ken Griffey Jr. I don't know, that last one, that third spot is kind of like an alternate spot where I could put in like, because Marshawn Lynch I'd love to have there just because he's a guy, man. He's a guy.
That would be an interesting character to have right there, yeah. And just, I told this to Zach, imagine all 3 of them like together having a conversation.
Dynamic.
Be interesting. So I noticed you went all sports themes with that, which I probably would too, to be honest, if I had to say it. That's interesting, yeah. Zach said some people I've never heard of before. So it was interesting. He said some kind of inventor that I probably should know, but I don't know. So, but yeah, interesting. Okay. So lastly, where can people find you on social media if they want to reach out to you?
Yeah, JNEU0622. My last name is spelled Neu, so JNEU 0622. Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter. I don't do anything on Twitter, so that's a waste of time. Snapchat. If you're interested in Bud or Delight even,
for sure.
ETX Bud. I think it's just ETX Bud on Instagram. And then Delight is Delight, LATU, Or you'd be able to find it if you looked up Delight LATU or LATU Delight.
Yeah, and make sure you put those, if you're in the East Texas area, put those ETX in, because there are different bud is like a bigger thing, and then we have ETX bud, and there's different types of bud, and also the same for Delight. So yeah, so that's cool. What else? I was going to say something. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about Twitter. When you said Twitter and you don't do much on it, I feel like nobody does anything on Twitter. Literally the only reason I even have Twitter, I have it for my 2 YouTube channels, but basically just to see sports news and like just see people rambling about sports. That's really the only reason I have it. So
yeah,
I just thought I'd mention that.
Same here. Yeah, sports, and I recently followed Donald Trump because it's really funny to watch all the tweets come in.
That's true. Yeah, if you want to get some laughs and have some humor, then go to Twitter and just look up Donald Trump. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So that is going to end it for this podcast. Thank you so much, Jacob, for coming on. This will come out. We'll actually be in different places when this comes out, which will be. It's interesting to know that just in another week we'll be in a different place. But
crazy.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. And thank you all for listening. I said watching last time, but thank you all for listening, because you won't be watching this. And we will see you guys next time.